Once Nightblade fell asleep, I walked out of the tent, only to be greeted by a sleeping Willow, curled up right in front of my tent. I told Nightblade about my little friend earlier before she dozed off. So what I decided to do, I lifted her up into my bed, or my sleeping bag, and I put her in. She was still sleeping though, surprising. And went on a walk to clear my mind. Whilst walking, I heard a grumble, and I mean stomach grumble. I looked in that direction, and I saw something weird. Something I've never quite seen before. It was a pony, except it was a bug. It looked like a bug, which was odd. However, I couldn't really question it. Staring at this, I saw it was skinny. It had just lapped up water from the pond nearby. It was wanting life, nourishment, but it seemed whatever it could get was inefficient. I pitied it and began walking over. It must have heard my footsteps because it turned to me and got in a defensive stance, angered. I wasn't fazed. I stood there staring at it. He said, "Whatever you are, you back away. Or else," I said. Then I immediately jumped in and said, "Or else what? I can easily take you down." He was surprised and said, deciding to take an intimidating role, and said, "Listen, whatever you are, if you know what's good for you, you'll stay away. How about this? My name's Scott. What's yours?" The thing looked at him and said, "It's Kevin, but that doesn't matter. What matters is you understand I can hurt you bad, really bad." So I suggest you back away now. Or anything else could happen. Of course, or anything could or would happen. For anything could or would happen. He said, "It's Kevin." "Well, Kevin, look. You need my help, regardless of whether you want or whether you don't. You need it. So, just let me help you. It's for the best." Whether you believe me or not is up to you. you want to hurt me, but I'm gonna help you. He went over to the creature. Before it could react, he grabbed it by the horn. He grabbed Kevin by the horn, most importantly, and looked at him and said, "If you want to hurt me, you can, but I'm helping you." He hoisted him up and brought him back to his camp. What was now occurring couldn't be more awkward. After hearing of the form of nourishment they needed, he was now hugging Kevin, his love energy leaving him and flowing into Kevin. To be honest, he couldn't believe that he'd even agreed to something this weird. And it was very, very different, to say the least. He stared at him and said, "Look, I know what you're thinking, Scott, but yes, I know this is a little embarrassing, but I'm doing this because it's for the greater good of your health. So there's no need to worry." To be honest, what would happen over the course of the next few days would be something different for both of them. Whilst he was hugging him, Scott couldn't help himself. He began gently massaging the back of his... He began gently running his hand on his back and up, back to the top of his head, massaging it. Kevin had never felt such affection, such a different kind of feeling of love. He was always used to abuse from his rulers, from all kinds of different people. He felt good. He felt happy. He felt loved. He had never felt that way before. He never felt special. But this, he did feel kind of special in a way, to say the least. It was weird, but he felt special. He felt cared for. Sure, it may have been weird, to say the least, but He felt special. He felt loved and welcomed. He felt warm. It was like something like a radiance. Kevin eventually couldn't help himself and snuggled into his embrace. He snuggled closer, which, of course, on Scott's end, made his cheeks heat up, flushed. If someone were to catch them, they might get the wrong idea. The very next day, something of importance happened. Scott had informed, Nightblade, that he'd be going on a mission. This mission was of varied importance for a certain some pony, and that some pony was Kevin. Kevin had explained how urgent it was that they go back and gather the personal belongings of his. They did just that. Scott didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or punch Kevin right in his stupid fucking face. They had found his personal items. However, out of pure excitement, Kevin jumped. He jumped up and down 3 times, went over, and bumped in to Scott, while saying, "Thank you, Scott, thank you so much," and tried to hug him. But Scott had fallen over the side of the ledge that was to his right. Falling down, he tumbled. Hearing Kevin yelled out Scott's name, hearing the crack of a few different branches and such. It was an hour later. After Scott had regained consciousness, he was laying in a cave on a makeshift bed. Kevin looked at him and then trotted over. Actually, never mind, galloped over and said, I'm so sorry." It looked like he had tear stains on his, skin, ? "I'm sorry for what just happened. I didn't and never meant for that to happen to you." "I'm sorry that you had to go through that kind of pain." "Because of me, you had to go through that. I managed to patch you up a little bit. Get a few of those cuts and bruises patched up. You had a few lacerations and you had a pretty bad gash in your leg." He looked down and saw it and said, he couldn't be mad at Kevin. That fucking adorable face of his that he made. God damn, his heart was melting, and he said, "Don't worry, Kevin, you're alright. Accidents happen. I'm just glad nothing got broke. Hell, my lung could have gotten impaled. Or I could have broken a bone, or maybe snapped my neck. Or bashed the side of my head. I'm just lucky. I can tell I've sprained my leg. But whatever. However, there was one moment I didn't tell you about. In this moment, you're gonna hear something. The truth was, they'd been out there for about a week, searching for his stuff. And in that, they had encountered a few different dangers. A pack of timber wolves. About 5, actually never mind. Scott just wanted to make it sound more awesome. But no, a pack of 3 they had found. Scott had easily taken out 2 of them. However, Kevin was about to get mauled by the 3rd one. And then Scott saved his life. When Kevin had whenever a manticore had charged at them and nearly stung them, Scott had put himself in front of Kevin, taking a sting to his stomach, but killing the manticore, again saving Kevin's life. Scott had saved Kevin's life. And then Kevin had gotten him hurt a 3rd time. He felt so guilty and said, "You saved my life twice and I hurt you." Really, Kevin, it's okay. Kevin got closer. And then got on top of Scout. Got right in Scott's face. Said, "I'm so sorry." Tears streaming out of his eyes, falling right into his face. Said, "You've treated me so well this past week, giving me most of your rations, and overall showing me so much affection and kindness from your heart. Kevin, it's really okay. It's not okay that I got you hurt." What happened next left a weird feeling. And I mean a really weird feeling in Scott's chest. Kevin straddled him and said, "But I'm really sorry." The biggest eyes that ever formed from Kevin. "Look, Kevin, I may have a puncture wound in my stomach and my leg may be sprained." And he decided to tell a bit of the truth and say this. "Plus, I think I have a fracture in my left leg. But let me tell you something. I'm alright. Agents always make it through." He leaned in and said, "No, you've done so much for me." Scott could feel butterflies fluttering in his stomach, and he felt his heart racing. So Kevin leaned closer, and he said, "Look, Kevin, I don't like where this is going." But eventually, Kevin leaned in, pressing his lips against Scott's. Scott's heart ignited, bursting so much love energy from him. Scott tried to push him off, but after 7 seconds he melted into it. gently putting his left hand on the Kevin's side and putting his right hand up to Kevin's cheek, cupping it, forcing the kiss. Their mouths open and their tongues interlocked with each other. And about a good minute into it, Scott then thought, "Wait, what the fuck am I doing?"